My name is Wolf, and today we are back with our life beginning and always with Derek's epilogue. Your tent toe vanished slowly, your eyes still heavy, and you rubbed at them. Crushing into a cushion, you're exactly where you started your virtual gaming exploits last night, an off-white couch with Derek. You and him were nearly nose to nose, limbs tucked around one another in a cuddly embrace.
Morning.
Morning, Callie. He sounded awfully cheery. There wasn't. There was far more in life than anyone who had been unconscious for moments that would have been. He already had been awake, you'd bet. But you were content to be snuggled up with Derek. Without a blissful sign, Derek still made no move to get up. Relaxation was being in your father's arms. You were in agreement on that point. You could enjoy this a little while longer. Derek let out a low chuckle, his chest trembling.
Sorry.
Sorry about the less than ideal location. I didn't want to risk waking you up by moving you to a bed. No need to apologize. I was so tired last night, that's what I needed.
Aww.
Oh, perfect. Derek smoothly pulled his arms around you tighter. Embracing you deliberately was totally a move. In the back of your brain, you were amazed that this was happening. Sometimes it felt as if you and Derek were destined to be apart. The way he held you with no plans stopping eased those words for good. Derek was incredibly warm, in personality and as a pillow. And in the position you caught, similarly warming fragrance that clutched to his skin. He was not one for intentionally perfuming himself, but the gentle, nice scent about him had you guessing that Derek used a pure butter lotion. You know, having sleepovers in the living room as grown-ups is definitely one Park overdoing as kids. That Park was interrupted by the ringing of his phone. Derek's eyes widened in an instant, and he shifted to reach his phone on the coffee table. He checked the caller ID, and disbelieving smirk crossed his face. His voice was a whisper.
Are you serious?
No way. You couldn't guess who Miracle would get that reaction. He slid his finger across the screen and tapped the speaker button. Casually leaned back into the couch and stretched out an arm. From the fond twist of his lips, you knew this had to be someone close to him. Hey, Nico.
Hey.
Morning, bro. Nico, you're calling so early. Hey, you're actually the one I wanted to talk to. I just called Derek so I wouldn't bother you if you were still sleeping. Oh, and I didn't need my sleep? Dude, you're the most morning person to have ever rose early. Nicholas Suarez really did not know Cove Holden. That was one Nicholas Suarez really did not know Cove Holden. That one competition, Cove took golden every time. You get up early as a night owl. You get up so early a night owl could give you a high five on their way to bed. You'll hit the gym before. A stand-up routine of the certain stand-up routine broadcast into Derek's living room was cut off prematurely. He definitely could have kept going. Okay, we've heard you the first time. Hey, you asked for it. Derek pointedly judged a finger towards his phone. The only thing he said was quietly to him from you. This kid. He lifted his voice up, not let the conversation drag.
What's up?
So, what's up? What do you think? Kelly's leaving soon, aren't they? So, when will you come over to see me? Now? Soon? Derek theatrically rolled his eyes inward, laughing at Nicholas's eagerness. You've got to talk about it. And I mean Meek and Callie, not me and you. Callie's already here. Sorry, Nico. You're gonna have to shout. We'll sort this out, and I'll let you know.
Fine.
Alright. See you later. Yeah, I promise. We'll definitely see you. Bye, Callie. Derek pressed the red button on his phone screen and ended the call. Nico's gesture was really sweet. It might have been years since you last babysat him, but you still held a special attachment for him that you didn't any other team. Derek let out another long sigh, still holding the phone in the air. He looked at the device as if it was a magic wand.
Oh, man.
I should have figured. Derek, what are you gonna say before he called? Derek shook his head with the right expression. I was about to say, with my own place, we didn't have to worry about my little brothers interrupting that peaceful morning together. Technology has proved me wrong. You saw it. Nicholas didn't even have to call a psychic. The timing was prophetic. Speak of the devil, right? He must have called as soon as he dragged himself out of bed. Typical Nico. He shrugged a single shoulder, then reached down to place his phone on the table again.
It's no problem.
We can still take it easy, though. You should take it easy as possible before a stressful trip. He nuzzled his cheek into yours. You could feel his breath tickle your skin. I'm gonna take a shower and everything. Then we should have breakfast. Oh, should I join you? His brows lifted and his face darkened, clearly intrigued. I'm not sure if that means what I'm thinking it means. No, I think we're on the same page.
Sorry.
Sorry, that's not enough for him. His tone was disappointed, not frustrated at his tiny studio apartment. The bathroom wasn't meant for two. Okay, I'll use the other one. You could at least take the memory of Derek's charming face. Derek lifted you up with him, as he shifted into a stand position. He could get out from under another person with ease. The gym had done him well. He smooshed your cheeks. Oh my god. He smooshed your cheeks, still keeping you elevated, before gently pulling you back on the cushion, with one more tight squeeze. The whole experience made you giddy.
Talk to you later.
See you soon? With that, he headed off to the back of the apartment. You skipped to your room, began your normal routine after a particularly not normal start of the day. Derek's insistence on playing in pajamas had suddenly worked out in ways you hadn't foreseen. Maybe he had an inkling about it. With the two game-loving brothers, it was possible he had practiced dozing off with the controller before. While you changed your wrinkled clothes, your phone buzzed with a text from your sister. This was giving a heads up she was going to pop in, see some friends in the afternoon while she had the chance, but she would be there to see you off before the end of the day. You typed a quick message to let her know that it was cool and sent it. While you finished your morning ritual, you returned to the main area. While the apartment finished with his daily prep, Dark had made his way back to the couch. He couldn't stay away for long. Welcome back. Thank you. Hunger seemed to become a third wheel to your party by that point. You got to work to send it on its way. You and Dark threw some things together and had a relaxed meal. It was all good. The two of you could pretend this wasn't the last time you'd be waking up together for who knows how long. As from Liz, she's busy this afternoon, but she says she's going to see us later on. He nodded along, not looking shocked. Liz grew up in the area too. She had plenty of roots to water in that land.
Anyway,
Speaking of people to see, my family is coming over here today. So is Liz. But we've got to ask your mums and your dad still. They're gonna want to come say bye, I bet. Thanks for letting them visit. I'll text them. Of course, it's gonna be cool to open up my place to the grown-ups after being their guest millions of times. And I love having you here with me. It's like we're living together, for real permanently, as if you weren't a guest.
that's a bummer.
Too bad it's gonna end. All morning he had appeared giddy, excited by your presence. That light still shone through, but averting your eyes from reality wasn't foolproof strategy. He accidentally broke the illusion. He pressed his lips tight together, his brows pulled in intensely. Today's gonna be big. It's the last chance. We should do something you couldn't do anywhere else. You braced yourself from the coming conclusion, then smiled. I like the way you think. We should come up with something. Let's end the trip on a high note. Wait. He pumped his fist in triumph at his sudden inspiration. You know what we could do? Derek left space to gasp and blurted out exactly what he was thinking. Go to the boardwalk! The volume of his explanation got louder as his excitement grew. Sure, it's further away than the water park. We'd probably have to leave after only an hour. But we can make it, and we'll have at least been there. No one can stop us. We don't need anyone's permission. You wanna go? His eyes shone with hopes and dreams. Are you kidding? We gotta go! You could run out the door right now. It can't be too early.
Let's get to it.
Yes, let's do it! He was halfway jumping to his feet before he realized where he was. As soon as we finished our food, obviously. That didn't seem obvious until a second ago. We could eat on the road.
Oh!
Alright. You let your anticipation carry you through snapping bites of food while bundling up anything portable. The dishes hit the sink and Derek waved washing them off for now for a change. He raided his cupboards for granola. He pointed out some other snacks to take. All in all, you were ready being out the door in 7 minutes. During the drive, Derek's brain was sharp and focused. We should make everyone know that to get together will be for dinner. Late dinner.
I got you.
Dinner. I'll leave it to you if you want to tell the gang about our own plans for the day, or keep it a secret. I don't know if you want to deal with everyone asking why they weren't invited, but they are a lot more grown up than they used to be. Sometimes I forget that. Are you kidding? I'm bragging about this. That choked a laugh out of him. That's an angle I hadn't considered. And, you are a very honest person. After a very long ride, and some struggles with parking, Derek headed to a resort, circling like a vulture until his spot opened up. You and Derek were strolling under a wide blue sky into a bustling boardwalk. The boardwalk was an amusement park. The Boardwalk amusement park was as dizzying and dazzling as it was 10 years ago. The music was playing from storefronts, and blaring out at the peaks of the coaster, and crowds of people were laughing and talking from all sides. You knew as soon as the scent of the steam fried food struck your senses that this was the right call for your last stop on your trip with Derek. At your side, Derek spoke soft and sentimental. He made it. It's been a long time coming. He didn't say more, though he felt his knuckles brush against your arm inquiringly. You took Derek's hand. It slipped into his naturally. Now you wouldn't get lost, and would be much happier. Together you stepped further down the path. For a place that felt so alive, it was almost uncanny how little they changed over the years. The bike rental store was there, though they also offered shiny new electric scooters. There were still vibrant stalls offering varieties of fair food, and the 2 big rides, the roller coaster and the Ferris wheel, continued to tower over the bustling crowds. You were sure one of the differences without needing to see it. The face painting counter would have a total stranger running it. Xavier moved on to decorating cakes rather than Jordan's cheeks. Still, being there was a time machine to a summer long gone. You and Derek were 2 teens once again. You got your attention with enough voice excitement to confirm it.
So?
We're trying to do what we can. We'll have to leave pretty early to make it back for the farewell dinner. But we can grab the rides, grab a cheap, browse some stores, or hell, we could rent our own bikes if you want. You were pulled into an even closer position to Derek as he squeezed your hand affectionately. His pure enthusiasm made frowns right out impossible. He chuckled, the joy vibrating through you coming out. Your first time at the boardwalk was an experience. It was such a huge trip. Both your parents and siblings had been there, then separated to do groups. For better or for worse, better or for worse, you went all across the boards, apparently under your feet. Meanwhile, the adults had their heels on the floor. They were fit into pedals. The shock you felt, learning they'd gone the bikes without care in the world, was as fresh as ever in your mind. That wasn't at all that lingered within you. Important decisions about face painting, Nico being carried around like a sack of potatoes, Knuckles on the bench as the sun set, and the Ferris wheel. Younger was not only a hindsight, but an adult moment in the moments made more significant. They are precious. You never experience your first time here again, or what it'd be like to be 13 when the world was beginning to open up wide. Even so, your thoughts weren't completely tinged on the nose. Tinged in rose. A fluffy blanket of nostalgia can make you forget how it almost wasn't a nice time. How it only got to stay good because one person cared enough to make it sound it did. How Derek Suarez cared more for others than himself. That remained starkly true about him more than a decade later. For the brief time you'd been in the area, he gladly let Nicholas direct the activities multiple times, and he did his best not to let Harry feel left out. Along with his own family, he never let the supersede your comfort or wants, and he accommodated to your sister too. After all, he put in the effort to help her come see everyone. You were sure he had fun being part of the misadventures, but most times he had been a passenger in the exploits, despite having to be the person who drove everyone else there. Despite having been the person who drove everyone else. That answered Eric's question for you. My only contribution is you choose. I feel like you should have the Boardwalk make a day where you get to do whatever you want, after how many outings you've let other people have their own way. Derek's screen collapsed open. Crease frowned on his brows. He was stunned and very touched. While the appreciation was unmistakable, he hesitated to accept such an offer.
Don't worry about that.
Oh, you don't have to do that. It's your vacation. And you missed out on stuff too. He wasn't surprised by that response, but it didn't play like rejection. He only needed some extra encouragement, like a kid who thought it was about to open a present before his birthday, even if he got permission from the giver. Maybe a little, but never because of you, Derek. You're not taking me for granted. You're my boyfriend, and it's only fair that I get to be the one who puts you first sometimes. Eye contact temporarily failed him. Derek watched his own foot discover the spot where one side of word met another. Downtown face didn't hide the wide smile of gossip. Thanks, Callie. It's my pleasure. Gradually, his normal confidence returned. It wasn't a mistake. He wasn't doing something wrong. He could simply enjoy himself. He would. And he would.
Come on.
Okay then, if you're positive, sure. Want to get our face painted? We've got to start the day right. I had a feeling you might say that. Woo! Derek thrust his free hand ahead of you. It wasn't entirely right in the right direction of the face painting store because you weren't facing that way. But you got the idea.
Nice.
I'm gonna get whatever I want. It could be anything. The sky's the limit. The cheer on his voice and the shimmer in his eyes was any better than the thrill the Boardwalk could have offered. You almost had to feel guilty. He'd done you another favor by allowing you to be the one who did a favor to him. He'd done you another favor by allowing you to be the one who did him a favor. That tended to be the way it went. You weren't complaining about that particular dynamic. Hey, you get one? Of course! Cool. With no time to lose, a plan in mind, you and Derek went to the old face painting stand with the new artist. Welcome! I got a free spot for you if you see something you like. The painter was far less glamorous than Xavier, but no less friendly, or was at their job. If the new example photos were to believe, they had their own flair in the strokes and color of choice. Rushed Derek into the seat. It was his day, and for once, he was going first. After you. He appreciatively obliged, strode ahead, and hopped into the raised chair. Derek had no embarrassment over being an adult at a face painting stall. It was nice to see. Oh, excellent. What can I get you? Derek took a polite glance at the offered styles on display, though didn't need any time to decide. Polish and star. Good choice. The artist wasn't simply being polite. Well, they might have been, but shouldn't be if they were. Derek beamed like the star himself. Nothing could have fit better. Taking point to point before being attached to a long tail. Soon Derek's cheek was emblazoned with the bright star streaking across his face. But they weren't finished yet. The store had upped in production value since you were last there. The artist added a a finishing touch of glitter to the centerpiece, and paint sparkles all over the basic tail.
Whoa!
Whoa! It was a pleasant surprise for Derek as well. He had been sure of what he was getting and ended up with more. Hopefully that would be a pan of things to come. Thank you! Derek shook the hand of the artist vigorously before bounding out of the chair to show you. Check it out, not bad, huh?
Man!
Honestly, I always thought the shooting star was the coolest. As the style is going... It has the most going out of all the options, but it's not exactly Nico's style. He does have a gold star. Oh! Fell out of the snort while barely stopping himself from slapping his freshly painted cheek. I hadn't thought about it like that. But I say you're right. But he just stood on his heels and took 2 steps backwards. The front door was clear, and Derek was in place to keep watch. Go down. Cool. I want to do the same as him. I think it'd be cool. And that was a missed opportunity with Nicholas. We could have all been a family of spiders. Oh well. He walked under the large umbrella that covered the stall, and out into the paint-inspired sea. Hello, what can I get you? It was a difficult question, but after some serious soul-searching, he said, I want a shooting star too. Of course, you'll be a wonderful pair. For the second time today, at least with you and Derek. It might have been the dozen for the day. You aimed to put the town into action. You've forgotten how tickly the bristle was being drawn over your skin. You wondered how you managed to stay still for this in the past, or even how young kids did it. It might have been because the process wasn't too long. You're an expert hands, while you've been distracted by unusual sensation they'd finished. Your shooting star was topped off with a dash of glitter, and the piece was complete. You smiled in the mirror. The artist angled at you. Thank you. It's my pleasure. When you rejoined Derek outside the store, he was admiring the charming composition. It got a thumbs up from him.
Awesome.
That's awesome. You paid the artist with their work, just you, since you were covering Derek, and he certainly wasn't paying for you. And then it was back to the thick of the park. Derek was on his way, and you were relieved to have him darken the course without a reminder to do so. Since we're here, we've got to ride the roller coaster. Then what are we waiting for? Come on! Alright! Mutual thrill propelled you through the crowd, flying past the souvenir shops and food stalls so fast you could imagine yourself already on the coaster. Oh, shit. The line was wrapped around the whole base of the coaster, but neither of you intended to give up. You could be patient for your reward. Though, patient didn't mean calm. Derek restlessly bounced from heel to toe, repeatedly clasped and unclasped his hands, sometimes shaking his fingers out. His behavior was more appropriate for someone about to jump into a big game they had been training for all their life. But Derek had already gone through that kind of experience for real. So, it was soon for him. The thick row of people filed forwards at a gradual pace. Derek shut out eager chat when he got to move. He held onto his high spirits the whole while, and eventually you reached the boarding platform. Finally, the suspense of waiting to be on the ride was replaced with the anticipation of the drop. You got on a middle spot on the coaster. Though, with bias towards the front, it was good with Derek, and that was you. It was good with Derek, and that was good with you. Together, you piled in for the ride and closed the safety bars over your laps. A check of all the cars was performed as usual, and when the clear was given, the wheels cranked ahead. It pulled higher and higher to the peak of man-made wood and mountain, until, without warning, the coaster careened over the other side. Derek hollered loud enough to hear the shouts of everyone else, plus the clattering car and your teeth chattering in your head. You zoomed through twists and turns, being jostled around like you were tossed into a tumble dryer. Then it was over. You jogged forward when the car's speed decreased, and significantly the last leg. Once the car cranked to the crawl and rolled into the station, you headed across the exit on the other side, making sure not to leave anything behind. All the fellow riders went down the path in a group. Derek was out of breath and buzzing with energy. You were in a similar state. After ruffling his already tousled hair, Derek sighed happily.
Phew.
That was great! Yeah. You began to drift over the boards again, heading nowhere, being encouraged forward by the tide of partygoers coming through. You can't remember what happened, but you and Derek's hands found each other again. Your arms swung back and forth between you. He grinned over to you as sweet as mouthful of cotton candy. What do you want to do next? Wait, no. What do I want to do next? You still got a deck. Derek and you joined in with the laughter filling the park. Force of habit. Don't worry. I can keep reminding you. It's Derek's day. Derek's day, huh? I like the sound of that. Before cast his focus up to the sky, with his free hand, Derek traced the edges of his jaw using a thumb and pointer finger. It reminded you of the way Mr. Suarez struck his beard, thoughtfully and respectively. Derek was missing the facial hair, but the effect was the same. What does Derek Suarez want to do? We've had the roller coaster, the face painting store. I'm not a huge fan of the reflections here. We've got the bikes and scooters, but you can do that almost anywhere. On top of that, time's running out before we have to leave, so I'm next to the Ferris wheel. We've got to do that before we go. Good idea. It'd be a missed opportunity to leave without framing it.
Awesome.
Alright, let's go. Derek glanced around the alley of the land, wandered far from the coaster, and entirely lost touch with what you stood in the park. But your target was the tallest structure for miles. There was no trouble determining a path towards it. Together you made your way across the boardwalk. The line for the Ferris wheel wasn't as jam-packed as the first ride you'd stopped at. Far more guests could fit at a time. And it was less of a draw to the high-energy guests attending the park. You couldn't get on immediately, but the wait wouldn't be too long. Derek's attitude standing there in a stark contrast to how he behaved on the creeping crawl to the coaster. His feet were firm on the ground. The ride attendee called the door for both of you. But that didn't mean you couldn't add a touch of your cordialness. Please, you first.
Thanks.
How kind. He promptly climbed in. You got up the 2 steps into the car after. Derek sat on the right bench, the same side he picked last time you were there.